Ballot in the 2027 polls. Tonight on the program, we speak to Roots Party leader and 2022 presidential candidate, Professor Prof Wajackoyah, on the state of the nation and his 2027 game plan. Professor is with me in studio. Professor, good evening, and thank you very much for making time for us tonight on TV47.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's been long since I interacted with you, but I'm happy to do it again.
Prof, it's more than 1,300 days since you sought to lead the country in the 2022 polls. How would you summarize the state of the nation as?
The country has sunk. The country is sinking. The country is irredeemable because of corruption, the killings, embezzlement of public assets, poor policing policy. For example, now if you look into the police service has been ethnicized. Do your own research, and I would like members of the Fourth Estate to walk around in Nairobi County to find out how many police stations we have and how many people are manning those police stations and from where. The infrastructure is dead. The Kenyan name is been sunk again. And there's a lot more that I can say, but more or less before I continue, I've raised some of these issues with the Prime Minister's office this afternoon in England. I've also sought the assistance of the EU regarding the state of affairs, and in general, I've raised the issue of the doctors in Nairobi Hospital and the blatant irregularities that have happened in Nairobi Hospital. Before I came here, I spoke to my friend Danson Omari to update me of what's going on. It is horrible.
You say the country is sinking, the country has sunk. Prof, is that not a harsh indictment, a harsh analysis?
Maybe that is a very shallow kind of concept that I may use. If I had deeper words, stronger words, I could have used them.
Is that to suppose that you are discontented with the state of the country, the nation as is now?
Kenyans are. And Kenyans are, and that's why the current president, if he was in the UK, he ought to have resigned. He ought to have saved his image and his face for the sake of unity in the country.
The president, to his defense, says he's embarking on a national infrastructure project. He's empowering you through Nyota program. He's pointing out at flagship projects that he says are changing the lives of Kenyans. You don't buy that, Prof, do you?
And he's not telling us about corruption, how parastatals are being sold left, right, and center. He's not telling us about flagrant appointments and sackings of Kenyans. He's not telling us about how he's going to curb the unemployment in the country. He's not telling us about the rising of prices in the country. He's not telling us, he's not even giving us a policy. Some of the jobs he's doing are jobs meant for low cadre of members of civil service and the MCAs. You can't tell me that as a president, I'll be busy out there going to open roads which are 15-kilometer road which are meant for. And how do you open a road which has not even started? You open a road, or you commission a road which has already been completed. How many roads were commissioned in central Kenya?
All right.
And how many were completed? And why is he wasting his time in Busia?
Prof, you have painted a bleak picture of the state of the nation. If Kenyans had given you a chance 1,315 days ago and elected you as the 5th president, would have things been better now?
I would have finished corruption. I could have set up a tribunal to try those who are involved in public theft, and we could have hanged some of them. I would also have gone on zero tolerance on corruption. I would have borrowed a leaf from China. In China, if you are suspected to have committed a crime and you are tried and you lose the case, they will hang you. I would introduce the same measures here. And in Islamic country, if you steal, they chop off one hand, and if you steal again, they chop off both. But here, prisons have become places of the poor. The poor get to prison, and the rich get the glass houses.
You're a professor of law who is recommending a very radical way of dealing with constitutional law.
It is not a radical way. It is the solution. And if I took over the presidency, I'll be a benevolent dictator for the first 100 days to make things right, to put things right.
Professor, in my introduction, I noted of your agenda that many Kenyans remember for you in the last general election, which was the legalization of marijuana. Perhaps this is the most perfect point to confirm. Are you in the ballot? Are you in the race for?
I'm running for president, and one of the key pillars of my economic development and recovery of the situation here is by legalizing hemp. And it's upon this, and first of all, I have to thank the government of Ghana for legalizing marijuana. I have also to thank the government of Uganda and Botswana. I would have legalized hemp, and hemp would have been the solution to economic problems that we have today. Canada today, let me say last year, they actually raised revenue from hemp. They raised $409 trillion US. And if you look at the manufacturing sector in Canada, in Canada, you find out that the byproducts of hemp have allowed or enabled Canada to produce Boeing 747 completely made out of hemp. If you look at the drones that are now being used in the Middle East, the majority of the drones that are being used by Iraq are all made out of hemp, and you can see what is going on.
And is that to suppose that the legalization of marijuana will still be an agenda for Wajackoyah in 2027?
It's top of my agenda, because we want to have a free debt, like the mess Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta put us in. It will take us 40 years to recover. But with hemp, I'll be able to make sure that within the next 4 years, the country will recover from this dungeon of corruption.
That was your agenda in 2022. Looking at the numbers, Kenyans didn't necessarily buy into that agenda. What makes you the confident that they will buy into that?
I'm telling you today, and let me first of all say that my silence does not mean that I'm a fool. I've been silent and let nobody take that for granted. Kenyans are now coming to me. The church, especially the Anglican Church, is appealing to me because they have had a conversation with me, and they have actually come out and said, well, I was right.
We are talking to the 2022 presidential candidate and 2027 presidential hopeful, Professor George Wajackoyah of the Roots Party. Time for us to take a short break. This discussion is coming back after the break. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, the Kenya Revenue Authority is rethinking its methods of taxing micro, small and medium enterprises as digital commerce reshapes how businesses operate.
Revisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account and win. Revisha ushinde. KCB, for people, for better.
Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports. All in one place. In Homa Bay and its environs, did you know you can easily claim your lost and found financial assets for you, your loved ones, or your organization? The Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, in collaboration with the County Commissioner Homa Bay, is giving you an opportunity to claim your lost and found financial assets. From 23rd to 27th March 2026, come to Raila Odinga Stadium with your ID, a copy of a relative's death certificate, a copy of a grant, or a copy of an organization's registration certificate to search and claim your unclaimed financial assets. Listen to Radio 47 for more details. Claim your cash. Karibu Nawe, the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite. On March 18, 2026, the world will mark Global Recycling Day, a day dedicated to promoting responsible recycling and protecting our planet's valuable resources. On TV47's Morning Cafe, we will host Mr. Stephen Muli, Board Chair of the Kenya Extended Producer Responsibility Organization, KEPRO, for an insightful conversation on Extended Producer Responsibility, EPR, as a catalyst for recycling in Kenya. Tune in as we explore how EPR can drive sustainable waste management, strengthen recycling systems, and support a cleaner, greener future for Kenya. On the next episode of The Arena, trust. It's the foundation of every business, and sometimes the hardest thing to rebuild. This week on The Arena, Trust Recovery, Rebuilding After the Fall. Host Michael Anthony Masharia shares his journey through betrayal, legal battles, and the emotional cost of staying ethical in the storm. He's joined by Dr. Moka Lantham, Tesh Mbabu, and Sarah Karingi, founders who faced collapse, loss, and the challenge of starting again. Because not all losses make headlines. Some unravel quietly in boardrooms, hospital rooms, and behind brave faces. And sometimes the hardest rebuild isn't the company, it's yourself. Catch it on Tuesday at 10 p.m. on TV47.
Equip Africa Institute, the TVET arm of Mount Kenya University, is where dreams take shape. We prepare you through competitive, market-driven programs which include medical and health sciences, hospitality, tourism and travel, journalism, IT, engineering, marine studies and driving. With entry grades from C and below, your journey begins in our Thika, Kitale, Nakuru, Malindi, Kisii and Nairobi campuses. Equip Africa Institute, promoting competence, innovation, and excellence.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching the Daily Report here on TV47. The discussion continues in studio. Just a reminder of who our guest is tonight. Roots Party leader, Professor George Wajackoyah, is with me in studio. We made sense of the state of the country. Let's talk of the state of politics. Professor, we have seen a widening political divide in the country. We have seen Linda Mwananchi, Linda Ground. We have seen members each pulling as united opposition. Where and which side is Professor George Wajackoyah on?
None. Nothing. I'm on the side of Roots Party, and I'm also on the side of Kenyan voters.
Everyone amongst those whom I have mentioned says he or she is on the side of Kenyan voters, Prof.
Yes, I'm on the same side of Kenyan voters, because that's what I'm looking for, that I become the next president of this country.
When you say you are on the side of Roots Party, taking into consideration all these other political leaders have each their party, each intention to be vying for the presidency, have you found any sense in working with the united opposition?
I'm working with the Roots Party, and Roots Party is working with the people of Kenya.
In its own formation, or what kind of a formation is he working?
Roots Party is registered under the Political Parties Act as Roots Party. Yes.
And that rules out the prospect of you working with anyone opposed to the government as you...
Roots Party is working for the nation, for the people of this republic.
And is it working in isolation then?
I don't know what you mean by isolation. I don't know, unless you tell me what I mean by isolation.
Roots Party, you say, is not part of any political formation?
Roots Party is part of Roots Party and the people of this country.
In my research to this interview, I saw a picture of you with the former and ousted Secretary General of ODM, Edwin Sifuna. Were there any political talks on the cards?
No, not at all. Yes.
No political talks?
No.
To that extent?
No.
All right. Prof, we are heading to 2027 polls. What is Roots Party and what is Professor Wajackoyah's game plan?
I cannot say what the game plan is unless the NEC, National Executive Committee, allows me to speak through our party spokesperson. Other than that, let's wait and see what will come out.
And in that wait and see, are you confident that you will be elected the 6th president of the Republic of Kenya then?
Yes, and this time nobody's going to steal my vote. Whoever steals my vote will die before the election. God will take him away, or her. Yes, because we don't steal people's hearts.
All right, and making the case for Wajackoyah 6th then, why should Kenyans trust you with the country's highest office? Let
Kenyans, I'm talking to them, and I don't need to tell them to, I don't need to go and sell myself for trust. The word trust is not synonymous with what we are doing with the Kenyans. We are looking at issues, and that's all.
And what issues is Professor looking at ahead of the 2027?
They are part of our manifesto, of which you know. I'm sure you are privy to our manifesto. Yes, sir.
Including the legalization of marijuana, which we talked about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But Prof, when you say, for instance, as earlier you mentioned, that you will fight corruption and that there will be harsh penalties, is that to suppose then that you will suspend the Constitution?
I will ask Kenyans to look into this Constitution. Some of it has been copied and pasted, because I am very sure that that Constitution had a lot of illegalities. And if we have to go into that, then we shall have an academic debate of which we might write even 10 PhDs on that. One of the caveats or footnote I will put on this is that when the Constitution was being promulgated, we did not see how it was done, whether it was translated in all our vernacular languages, and whether people were given enough education and enough time to look into it. You'll find out that also that our Constitution is how many pages now? 269? Whereas the US Constitution is only 8 pages. So I wonder how ours became that much, yet Kenya is not big enough more than the state of Texas in the United States. Yes.
Prof, on the question of why Kenyans should consider you for the highest office, you say it's part of your manifesto. There are viewers watching us tonight who would want to know, why is Professor Wajackoyah making another stab at the presidency? What does he want to deliver? To that viewer, what do you intend to?
I intend to rescue this country from corruption. I'm not corrupt. I've not at any time been caught into the webs of even putting people's skirts down. I have not been caught in any kind of big issue that can raise my moral turpitude to members of the public. But what I can address and I can request my fellow Kenyans is that all criminals from zero to Ruto, they ought to face the law. And the best way to hang for these people, if they are found guilty, is to be hanged upside down in Uhuru Park. And that's my stand. Yes.
Prof, I'm sure you must have heard in previous instances that some of the proposals you have made have been termed as radical. Some have been termed as idealistic, aren't they?
People who speak that way have got a problem with themselves. If you speak in a particular way or in a particular line that somebody may not want to agree with you, or you don't agree with that person, they will either call you a mad person, they will call you radical, they will call you a terrorist, just like what is happening in the Middle East. When the Lebanese people, when the people in the Middle East are fighting for their rights, they are termed terrorists. When Mandela was fighting for South African independence, he was referred to as a terrorist. So was Yasser Arafat, so was Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Similarly, the same thing is applied to people whose views are seen to be different. What's wrong with me telling Kenyans or asking Kenyans? We had an issue of KEMSA, where thousands and thousands of Kenyans were killed, died in the hospital because of lack of medication, simply because some fool somewhere had stolen money worth buying drugs to put in our hospitals. So if I say that that is wrong, and if I say that somebody who has made Kenyans to die is a criminal who, if found guilty, should be hanged, somebody says that's a radical. What is the meaning of radical? If your views are not getting in tandem with somebody's little brains, then they will come up and they say, oh, no, this one is radical. Like me, they have said everything. Oh, Wajackoyah this, Wajackoyah that, we can't sit with him, he's like this. Come on, I don't give a damn about it. I am saying that if I become the president of this country, I am going to be a benevolent dictator. I want to put things right. And I want Ruto to listen to me and listen very carefully.
Some of the things some have accused you of is equally an insider ahead of the 2022 polls. I'm sure you must have heard of the academic Professor Mutai, Professor Mutai, who labeled you as a government insider who was out to, quote, split votes and cause a runoff.
That man has got a disease in his head. Because when he came to my office with a sweet tongue, I told him no. When he told me, can we do this? I said, how? He said, can I contribute? Now, because he wanted to really get married to people around, and I'm also told that his wife is a Kalenjin, after he had actually betrayed Uhuru Kenyatta and his group, after which he had been given operatives from the NSIS who were working with him, he now turns around and he wants to please the government that Wajackoyah was an insider. Would I be speaking this way against Ruto if I was an insider? Mutai Ngunyi's time has come, it is gone, and he's seeking relevance, and we who know him don't even bother talking about him.
So in 2022, you did not vie for the presidency to potentially cause a runoff. That's what you're saying.
Well, that's what he wanted to. And he came out shamefully the other day saying, oh, Wajackoyah was this. And when he was asked whether Wajackoyah asked you for any money, he said, no, that man is very clean. So Mutai Ngunya has got a disease. He needs to go to hospital. And people who are serious should not take him seriously. And even Ruto, even if I'm fighting with you, my brother, let me call you my brother today, forget about Mutai Ngunyi. It's a tick on your coat. Thank you.
All right, Mutai Ngunyi is not with us in studio, but I was asking that question to seek you clarification.
Yeah, because
fair enough.
I was also answering him, so I'm rebutting to what nonsense he has been telling Kenyans.
Professor, in the midst of this interview, you said the Anglican Church is looking for you and is warming up to you.
It's not warming up to me. I've met very good people in the Anglican Church who have actually invited me to speak in the churches, just like the Muslims have also invited me.
And are they agreeing with your agenda to legalize marijuana?
Well, they are not agreeing with my agenda, but they are it's a discussion. And I've told them that it was not for smoking. I've told them that it was not for causing mayhem in society. I've told them about hemp and the ingredients of hemp as a cancer-curing drug. I've told them about the fabric part of hemp that is actually used in road construction in India. I've told them of the fabric part of it that's being used in cloth manufacturing. I also told them that Israel relied much on hemp, where they produce materials that they make armaments, heavy and light ammunitions. They even use some of the ingredients to make food. And people should do research on this. Yes, sir.
Finally, Prof, for a Kenyan watching you tonight in this program, who you want to be his or her sixth president, your words to them.
Kenyans should be aware of the impending theft of votes. Votes were stolen in the last elections. First of all, be like Kikuyus. They're the best human beings on earth because they know how to vote and they know who to vote for. And I wish all Kenyans took that seriously, because most of the people in Central Province fought for this independence and they lost their lives, and that's why they know the meaning. Kindly register for votes, register in Roots Party by online by taking hash 50 star 509 hash, and please support me, and you see changes once we take over. I'm clean up to today. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I speak my mind, and I'm not afraid of dying for this country. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Professor George Wajackoyah. Professor George Wajackoyah is a 2022 presidential candidate, and he says a presidential hopeful in the 2027 race. Professor, thank you very much for making time for us tonight on TV47.
Thank you.
Well, that discussion continues. Remember, you can be part of that discussion. Send us a message on 22047. The hashtag to use is TV47 News. Let's get to the world of business. Let's count the cost, and the Kenya Revenue Authority is